Every day in the month of December, somewhere in America, a kid is sitting on Santa's lap. Somewhere a kid is handing over a list and warning, you better show up. The end result is typically a photograph, often with a child in tears. Yes, that's my son, and no, he's not happy I'm sharing this with you. But did you know that many children with autism miss out on this tradition? Until today, that is. Shh. This is a story about quiet visits with Santa.
Well, what we're doing is creating a quieter, softer, more slower-paced environment for kids to see Santa. They know about Santa, and they're excited about Christmas just like everybody else and the toys, but they don't do well with change.
And many adults don't deal with change well either, do we? But in a weird way, that's what the story is all about. Change, changing a tradition. I've been there before. I know you've been there before too. That picture I showed you of my son just a second ago took place when he was 2 or maybe 3 years old. And that Christmas we were maybe in line for 30 minutes and we got right up at the front, maybe the third or fourth back, and Santa had to take a potty break and I was about to lose it. For 30 minutes my son had been waiting. He was on the verge of a temper tantrum and I was like, buddy, you can hold it. I'm not putting up with this 3-year-old if he loses it. You can hold it, sit down. I don't care if Santa has an enlarged prostate. Throw into the mix autism. My son does not have autism, but throw into the mix autism. Throw into the mix the long lines, the Jingle Bell rocks blaring from the ceilings. And you get a sense that for some parents it is unbearable. This event that we organized ended up having 24 kids visit. But we thought it was best to explain it to you by focusing on one child and one mother.
Once you tell Alex you're going somewhere, you better be ready to get in the car that moment.
Alex Reynolds is in a hurry. He has an appointment to keep. He's about to meet Santa for the first time.
We wouldn't have made it through the line before, and just the overwhelming, crowd, so this is fun.
So y'all can come right down this pathway right here, and where that little girl elf is, and yeah.
Now before we show you what happened on the other end of this pathway, we gotta tell you that Alex is not the first child to make this walk. Santa has already met with at least a dozen other kids. And with each child, with each photograph, our perception changes. You see, we thought we were doing something special for the kids. As it turns out, we were really doing something special for the parents.
Just the faces of the parents. There was one little boy that we worked to get him to come over close enough to even take a gift, and at the point that happened, his mom's face melted. So yeah. That's a big win. Yeah. And that happened several times, but the very first dad that came in, it was just really cool to see how much it meant to them.
No one has to work on Alex. He walks in and knows exactly where he's going. He takes a spot and knows exactly what he wants to tell Santa.
Oh, what would you like for Christmas?
IBM ThinkPad on Windows 7, no IBM.
Wow. Ho, 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 you know your tech. That's very
But once again, we find ourselves focused on mom and dad, standing right next to each other, each one armed with a camera. They want to make sure to preserve this moment forever. Remember, what they're taking pictures of is routine. It's normal. But listen to a mom, and you'll realize that sometimes normal can be very, very special.
I said, yeah, go see Santa and say hi. Us, don't make me cry. It's just to have, excuse me, a normal experience with him is challenging sometimes, and for him to be able to experience what other kids do is very special. So we're very grateful.
It's a good moment. It's
Yeah, a good day. Yeah. So thank you for making me cry. It was hard to hold it together, but yeah, it's exciting.
Okay, I feel bad for making her cry, but here's what she gets out of it. That's the official photograph. That was not taken by Alex's mom or dad. It was taken by a friend of mine. Her name is Sherry. She volunteered to take pictures of all the kids. I bring her up because one of the things that I got out of this, me personally, from Quiet Visits with Santa, is the notion that if you're going to have a vision, if you're going to want to do something for other people, if you're going to have a ministry, for lack of a better word, you're going to absolutely, positively have to turn over ownership to somebody else. I'm not talking about Christianese here. I'm not talking about surrendering the ministry to God. I'm talking about something that's a little bit harder than that. I'm talking about giving up ownership to another person. But that concept is biblical. I want to show you Habakkuk 2:2. Write your vision down on paper so those who may read it will run with it. It took a lot of people to pull this off, a lot of people to pick it up and run with it. I'll be honest with you, my only contribution to this is I read an article that a Canadian journalist wrote a couple of years ago, and all I did was simply get it in the hands of one woman who took it from there.
Hi, welcome. Hey. Too. Santa's here to see you. We're so glad you could join.
Sharon, who has a heart for kids with autism and a great gift of organization, picked it up and ran with it. She got Dr. Harem, who you met earlier, to sponsor the event, and she got the folks at Airlie Gardens, a beautiful venue here in North Carolina, to open it up early and host it. I asked my friend Sherry to be the official photographer, and man did she run with it, taking more than 400 photos. And then I asked my friend Ron, my pastor Ron Bernard, to put on a red suit. It was Ron who pointed out that Habakkuk was great, but that this also reminded him of that song you may have noticed we've been playing in the background. Like the little drummer boy, there was only so much any of us could do, no matter how big our group became. It wasn't like we were going to cure autism, but I have a camera, and I'll put on an elf suit, and we've got some land, and I'll give out some presents, and we all have a great sense of compassion. So, can we play for you?
For us, I think anytime we can just take what we do have, give what you do have and use it for something that's bigger than you and adds value to others, then that's a pum-pum-pum moment, and I'm always for that.
That is the Vienna Boys Choir version of A Little Drummer Boy. Our goal is to do another quiet visit with Santa sometime next year, but our prayer is that you'll do one in your hometown. This really is a special program that means a lot to the kids, and it means even more, as you saw there, to the parents. Merry Christmas to you. Sincerely, Merry Christmas, and more than a Happy New Year. My prayer for you is that in 2016, God will surround you with passionate people, talented people, so that you can all get together and parumpa-pum-pum. I'm Doug Wahl in Wilmington, North Carolina. God bless.